Well, I'm out and I'm back. And let's talk about that here in just a moment. But I more so want to talk to you about with all of the warnings and everything that's going on with crimes against our churches, just so many things that say we're going to have issues. And with our Easter holidays coming up, I just want to talk to you about being the best that you can be for your church security. And I want to talk about those five components, just my opinion, what I think, and what we should be talking about to make sure you're on top of your game. I apologize for my voice. I am back. I spent several days in the hospital with pneumonia and a few other little complications and spent some time recovering. And I'm so happy to be back with you talking about the important stuff, church security. And so we're going to get through this and have a great discussion. So, what are the five things? I want to talk to you about five things that I think are important when it comes to being a great team member, a great member of the church security. And it's really not, I don't want to focus on the team. I want to focus on you as supporting your team. And one of the first things at number five that I think that we need to do is put our cell phones down. Plain and simple. I hear from so many leaders. I see my own team sometimes getting caught up in looking at their cell phone, and it's not good. I mean, it's you talk about what do they call it? Distracted driving, because it just takes a second for you to miss something. You're looking at your phone, somebody walks in that shouldn't be just walking in unchallenged, or some other issues going on. So um, it's important for us to focus, and that's what these things are. Is I just want to talk to you about being a great member of your church security team, and this is one of the first things. And I think this is something that we violate. Many of us violate, and when we're on duty, and I know some of you use your phones. I know some of you use your phones to communicate when you're on duty, and so that's an exception. But if we're not communicating, if we don't have to be looking at our phones, we really shouldn't be looking at our phones. So, and this is encouragement for you. This is all encouragement. I want to support you. So, and just like we have stuff down in the comments, down in the description to support you, training links, all of those kind of things. This is what I'm talking about here is stuff to support you and help you support your team and your church and protect your people. Next one, number four, is seek answers to your questions. Don't just linger with questions. Seek answers to those questions. You know, when should I ask somebody to leave? That's a pretty big deal. So, talking to your leaders and asking those questions if you don't already have an answer to that. It's good for them, by the way, if they're hearing from you, because then they can think, if they're on their toes, then they can think, okay, if this team member has that question, then probably the rest of the team has a question about that as well. What should prevent someone from entering our church? That's a great question. And what constitutes interrupting a service? Or, how loud do I have to be? Do they have to stand up and interrupt the service? Or could it be just somebody that's laughing way louder than everybody else or talking to themselves? Or what does this constitute? So, seeking the answers to your questions. So, you can kind of see here what I'm talking about is I'm kind of talking about you being part of the team. You're part of the security force. You're part of the protection detail for your church, but we're also acting as individuals. I want you to be the strongest that you can be. And we can't always rely on, it's a volunteer force most of the time, volunteer leadership. We can't always rely on them to get things done for us or to ask the questions that we need or to come up with responses for us or to get the training for us all the time. So I want to encourage you to be a great church security team member. And these are the things that, my opinion, just to talk to you about as we come up on a very important day for our many of our churches. It's not for all of you, but for many of you. Number three, challenge your own mind. Situational awareness. We talk about it all the time. What if this happens? What do I do? What's in your mind? Depending on what post you're at, depending on what your duty is for today. If this were to happen, somebody comes running up here really fast with a huge backpack on, carrying a big stick. What am I going to do? and answer that question for yourself. What are you going to do? And maybe talk about it with one of your teammates that you're working with. So these are great ways to help us improve and become better church security team members. We don't have to wait for someone else to answer the question for us, or somebody else to ask the question, or somebody else to lead the training in it. We don't have to be rude about it, but we can also begin to improve ourselves while we wait for other training, because it is a challenge. It's all around a big challenge for church security. I want to encourage you to make sure that you're prepared with your tools and your skills. If you're carrying radios, you're not real comfortable with it, get more comfortable with it. If you're carrying a gun, or you're carrying some sort of pepper spray, something along those lines, I want to encourage you to get better with those things. Maybe it means you have to go out and buy, you're assigned a pepper spray and you sprayed it a little bit in training, but you're not completely comfortable with it. So maybe that means you go out and buy one or two of your own canisters and practice spraying them at a cardboard target or something, so that you can get more used to how those things spray. We can't necessarily put all of that on our church. We can't necessarily put that on all of our church leaders, but we can definitely make ourselves stronger and a stronger member of the team. And that's what we're talking about. We're giving you some opinions on how to do that. And coming in at number 2 is getting better with our skills and our tools, whatever that is that you have, or what tools are available to you. And then coming in at number 1 is, I think, is very important, to be good at being balanced, to be a great communicator, be as friendly as you can. That should be really your priority. And then we're ready to take action, though. So we're working on that warm and welcoming environment, balanced with the idea that we're keeping it safe and secure. So we are ready at all times to take action. And those tips, those things, I believe, will make you a great member of the church security team, and kind of help us brush up as we come into some important time in our church, especially when we're hearing there are all kinds of threats and there are all kinds of problems and possibilities for issues for our soft target environment at churches. And we want to make that target more difficult. And you can do that as an individual. Even when you're working under the canopy of a team leader, we can respectfully do some of our own prep to get a little bit better, and maybe even talk to your team leader about it. I'm going to do these things to try to get a little bit better. Then that helps make you a better member of the team. I hope you'll like and subscribe. I am so thankful to be back with you, and be working on getting a little bit healthier here as we go through some videos over the next coming weeks. And I just want to encourage you to be the best team member that you can. Subscribe down below and take a look at the links that we have for you to get some more training, or to find some other resources for you to help you be a better member of that security team.